All right, today we are diving deep into a place that is, and I mean this literally, the nerve center of all global trade. We're talking about the port of Shanghai. And this is a story about scale that will just boggle your mind, but it's also a peek into a future that's way greener, way smarter, and way more automated than you probably think. So let's get into it.
So just take a second and look at this picture. You see these gigantic ships, right? Thousands of containers stacked up like Legos. This right here is the busiest container port on the entire planet. But as you look, something feels a little off, doesn't it? With all this stuff happening, where is everyone? And that question, well, that's the key to this whole story.
To really get what's happening at this port, you first have to wrap your head around just how massive it is. I mean, the scale is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, check out this number, 51.5 million. That's how many standard shipping containers the Port of Shanghai handles in a single year. You know, if you were to line all of those up end to end, they would circle the entire Earth more than 7 times. It's just an almost unbelievable amount of stuff flowing through one single spot. And look, this isn't some new thing. This crazy volume has made Shanghai the world's #1 container port for 15 years in a row. That kind of consistent dominance is the launch pad for everything they're doing now. But the future they're building isn't just about being bigger. It's about being a whole lot smarter and better.
Which brings us to the first huge shift, the green transformation. You know, for the longest time, a giant port just meant giant pollution. But Shanghai is completely rewriting that script. They're trying to become a global leader in sustainable shipping. And what they're doing is, well, it's the whole shebang. It's a true zero-emission ecosystem. We're talking about the giant cranes, the vehicles moving containers around. It's all electric now. No more diesel fumes. When the big ships pull up, they literally plug into the grid so they can turn off their own polluting engines. Even the wastewater is totally recycled, and they've got solar power everywhere. It's this complete vision for a clean port. And it doesn't stop with their own operations either. Shanghai is one of the very few ports in the world that can refuel ships with the next generation of clean fuels, like LNG and, this is the big one, green methanol. So by making these fuels available, they're helping to decarbonize the entire shipping industry, not just their own backyard. So what's the end game here? It's this incredibly ambitious goal. They're not just trying to reduce emissions. They are aiming to become a, quote, near zero carbon all island by 2030. That right there is the new benchmark for what a 21st century port should be. But this whole green thing is only possible because of the port's second big shift, building a digital brain. So if all that green tech is the body, then this smart technology, this is the port's brain and its nervous system. This is where you get data, AI, and connectivity all working together to create a level of efficiency and control that's just, well, it's never been seen before. At the very heart of this is a concept called a digital twin. And probably the easiest way to think about it is like this. Just imagine a perfect one-to-one virtual copy of the entire port living inside a computer. Every ship, every single crane, every container, it's all mirrored in this digital world, and it's updated live, second by second. And this digital twin, it's not a static thing. It actually evolves. You can think of it like it's growing up. It starts as just a simple replica, but then it gets connected to the business. It syncs up with live data from sensors, then it lets you do remote control, and finally, it gets to a point where it can make its own smart, autonomous decisions. Okay, and this is where it starts to sound like science fiction. They're using this super fast fiber optic network, it's called F5G, that lets operators sit in a comfortable control room over 100 kilometers away and pilot these massive multi-ton cranes with basically zero lag. It's a world first for a port, and it turns this really tough physical job into a high-tech remote one. All right, so we've got the green tech, and we've got this powerful digital brain. Now, let's go to the place where these two things meet to create something, well, something truly revolutionary, the Yangshan Phase 4 Automated Terminal. Hey, remember that question from the beginning? Where are all the people? Well, here's your answer. This isn't an empty port. It's a port that's run almost entirely by robots. It's like watching a perfectly coordinated, non-stop symphony of automated machines. Yeah, the workforce here is made of steel and silicon. You've got a fleet of 155 driverless vehicles, they call them AGVs, that just glide across the terminal. They find their way using a grid of over 60,000 magnetic nails that are buried in the ground. And get this, when their batteries run low, they drive themselves over to a station and swap them out for a fresh one. The whole process takes 6 minutes, and watching over all of them is an army of automated cranes. So who's the conductor of this whole robotic orchestra? It's a self-developed AI system called Yi-Chih. This is the super brain of the terminal. It manages every single movement, calculates the fastest, most efficient path for every single container, every second of every day. And the results? They're just staggering. This level of automation means the terminal needs 60% fewer people than a traditional one. And because the AI is so good at planning ahead, the number of times a container has to be shuffled around for no good reason has dropped by a full 25%. It's just safer, faster, and way, way smarter. So what does this all mean for the rest of the world? I mean, this is cool, but is it just a one-off? No. Shanghai isn't just building a port for itself. It's creating a brand new global standard. See, this combination of being green and being smart, this Shanghai model, it's basically a blueprint that other ports all over the world are now trying to copy. It's proof that you can have massive scale and be environmentally responsible at the same time. They don't have to be opposites. And, while Shanghai is definitely at the front of the pack, they're not alone. Other major global ports like Singapore and Rotterdam are also pushing hard, getting to that really critical level 4 of digital twin maturity. So this isn't just an experiment. This is the direction the entire industry is now headed. And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. The Port of Shanghai gives us a super clear picture of the future of global trade. It's efficient, it's sustainable, and it's automated. But as these technologies spread, creating these automated islands of efficiency, we've got to ask ourselves, how is this going to fundamentally change the human jobs, the cities on our coasts, and the very fabric of the supply chains that connect us all? That's the big question. Thanks for joining me.